Every time I eat, I throw the hairdryer into the oil pan and fry it, then sprinkle with coarse salt evenly. The last bite is a crispy chicken flavor. Seeing this, everyone thought I had a problem with my brain, but what they didn't know was I awakened the mechanical heart ability. Not only can you devour machinery to obtain various mystical skills, it can even be used to drive various machines with their minds. So when the end came, the first thing I did was, it's not hoarding materials to build shelters. Instead, he spent all his savings to buy a train, prepared to escape the polar apocalypse along the orbit around the stars. But the group member recruitment plan I posted on the internet sank into the sea. After all, no one would believe such a crazy plan. But what I didn't expect was Qiu Ya, a former college teacher, actually called. I want to join you. As long as you can come and save me, I am willing to do anything. Do you have the supplies? Have you awakened your abilities? No. I'm sorry, Miss Qiu Ya. I also have limited supplies. If you want to join my plan, it must have corresponding value. I sighed in my heart and was about to hang up the phone. Wait a minute. My father was a first-class maintenance engineer in orbit around the stars. I know that there are all 266 stops in orbit, and the location of the alternate track section of the 625 section for dry maintenance. I'm also familiar with many languages. I can act as your translator, and I eat very little. There will also be some cooking. As long as you take me away, I can agree to all your requests. Classy. I'll pick you up. I am in 901 Block 3 Yushui Garden, Jiangsu Road. He heard. Must have heard it. To alleviate your negativity, she immediately got up. I began to rummage through all the books related to orbit around the stars at home. I looked at the hung-up phone, couldn't help but sigh. Qiu Ya's words really touched me. The orbit around the star orbits the entire blue star. The road is full of unknowns. If someone is relatively familiar with this journey, it's also better than a dead map that has lost its positioning and navigation function. What's more, the map will not mark maintenance sections or special connection lines. And of course, there's one more point. Qiu Ya is my acquaintance. Put away the phone. The first thing I did was take out my phone and open the map, searching for Qiu Ya's location. Jiang City has now completely fallen. The remaining people are not survivors of the shelter. It was the thugs who plundered all over the streets, and a sea of zombies. 2 kilometers is not close. If it is before the apocalypse, this is only a dozen minutes away from taking a taxi. But now, the traffic is paralyzed, and the roads and bridges are damaged. I guess it would take me half an hour to feel that even if I was riding a motorcycle. And it's not clear what the situation is over there. Teacher Qiu Ya, I hope you are worth it for me to take this risk for you. After dinner, I began to sort out the harvest of going out during the day today. 2 cans of 2 bottles of water. There's also a pack of expired potato chips. Strangely, the huge backpack did not take up much food and water. What remained was some strange clutter. These wastes are full treasures in my eyes. I put my hand on the stereo. Faint fluorescence of Wen Shi appeared in my hands and pupils, and the sound that I touched. At this time, the nest suddenly turned into grey smoke and fell to the ground. Devouring success. Mechanical source. Mechanical devouring skill proficiency 1-1. Bonus your strength by 1. The familiar light curtain lit up in front of my eyes. There was joy in my eyes. I didn't expect a broken stereo. Actually got a 1 point of strength increase. It turns out that I am just a crispy college student, but now I can do 100 one-handed push-ups in one go. A few broken phones in the back. The attribute value does not appear again. It seems that it is still a guy with more power. However, what I didn't expect was, when I took a bite of the hairdryer, the light curtain in front of him suddenly flashed with golden light. Additional bonuses. You gain the wind cannon skill. I couldn't believe it. This is also the first time a skill has been obtained from mechanical devour. I lifted my fingertips to point at the sofa in the distance. A sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded. I saw the pillow on the sofa explode instantly. This power. Not bad. If you use all your might, should be barely able to deal with the monsters in the polar night. Now, there are 13 engulfing zones with a diameter of hundreds of kilometers around the world. They will continue to radiate dark shadows around. Under the polar night, the climate is catastrophic and variable. A wave of biological infections broke out. The unknown chase descended from the abyss. A small percentage of people are affected by shady radiation. Various abilities have been mutated. This gives this part of the population a great advantage in the test of survival. And I was one of them. Originally, I was going to pick up Teacher Qiu Ya after a nap. As a result, something happened at night. A faint sound woke me up from a light sleep. I picked up a dagger for self-defense, calmly approached the cat's eye to investigate it. As a result, the scene in the cat's eyes made me gasp on the spot. I don't know when in the corridor, an old man in a black shroud appeared. The most terrifying thing is, the corpse-like old man's eyes seemed to be looking at him through the cat's eyes. I was immediately frightened. The conditioning took 2 steps back. Isn't this Uncle Lee downstairs? Isn't he already dead? But how could zombies knock on the door? After a while, I looked at the cat's eye again. Girl appeared in the hallway at some point. She lay on the ground, constantly trying to fall and prick. Reach out your hand in the direction of the door. Help me. It can't be a monster. Are you setting a trap for me to trick me into opening the door? I couldn't help but look at it again out of curiosity. This time, I suddenly found Uncle Lee's figure, suddenly standing next to the little loli, then slowly bend down. When I want it, my pupils shrink a little, because I saw behind Uncle Lee's body at this time. It actually clung to a strange insect, with slender steps like black. The size of the square occupies his entire back. I gasped. I saw the strange insect's footsteps, slowly scratching. Then, he took Uncle Lee's hands and raised them. Then he pounced on the little loli. Just when I thought the girl was going to be eaten by this corpse, suddenly an invisible shockwave shook from the girl's body. There was a loud roar. I haven't reacted yet. The door in front of him was immediately blown away by a wave of air. I slammed into the iron gate of the Cajun window. Suddenly, I felt my eardrums ringing. Fortunately, my physical attributes have been strengthened. Otherwise, he would definitely faint on the spot. And Uncle Lee, who was controlled by the monster insect at this time, I don't know when it also rushed into the guest pound. At this time, Uncle Lee climbed on all fours, jumped directly from the ground. I gasped. Raising your hand is a blow. In this anger, I poured all my strength into jiping. A swift wind cannon burst out. In an instant, the monster corpse was hit head-on by this air gun. Half of his face was blown open and rolled aside. I picked up the dagger and rushed up decisively, pierced the black worm with a knife. The black worm let out a strange scream. The dense steps are crazy. He actually twisted his body directly and disconnected it from the blade, then quickly escaped into the shadows. Damn it! I didn't expect this place to be held so quickly. This girl must be some kind of superpower. But why did she come to me? In a hurry, I picked up the girl, run downstairs. The bottom protection center was destroyed. I had to rush all the way into the underground tunnel. At this time, countless zombies poured into the stairwell from all directions. I used the wind cannon skill to kill several zombies, one after another. Finally, he ran to the side of the Eternity train. I pressed on the body. The heart of the machine is activated. The cockpit door was opened. I pushed the girl in first, then climb into the cockpit again. The heavy hatch closes. I finally breathed a long sigh of relief. The tide of corpses surged fiercely. In a few minutes, the entire train was surrounded by water. Countless claws grabbed on the train, made a clucking sound, but the zombies obviously didn't know what steel giant was in front of them. Not only does it weigh hundreds of tons, even the thinnest places are at least 40 mm thick. How can the rotten claws of zombies cause harm? I came to the cockpit, found a black remote control. At the other end of the tunnel, I set up a large remote control amplifier. The voice rang, immediately attracted all the zombies to rush away. I breathed a sigh of relief. In the train, I turned on the flashlight on my phone, began to investigate the girl's injuries. But what surprised me was this. The girl didn't have any trauma on her body. This girl has eccentricity. I looked at the sleeping little loli, and secretly helpless. The girl's appearance completely disrupted her plans. The most important thing is, with my feelings, this girl must have some kind of special ability. But bring such a girl, it is undoubtedly a potential destabilizing factor for me. Under the emptiness of thought, I found a few ropes. The hands and feet of the sleeping girl were tied tightly. Then he carried her to carriage 2. I found a blanket for her to lie on. Everything was done. I wrote back to carriage, no one. Start thinking about what to do next. This time I frowned. If tomorrow, the train will start, follow line 3 to find teacher Qiu Ya. Will it be closer? The idea is bold. If it works, then I saved a large part of the risk factor in the journey. At the same time, you can also check the function of the locomotive, by the way. Sure enough, I checked through the map. I found the community where Qiu Ya was. It is less than 300 meters from the nearest subway entrance. Teacher Qiu, Yeah, you bought this house in the right place. Early the next morning, I got into the driver's seat of the Eternal. A dark light flashed in his eyes. The whole person seemed to be connected to the breath of this behemoth. The supercharged turbo starts roaring. The crankshaft linkage makes a screeching metallic sound. The orange-yellow lights instantly brightened the dark subway passage as bright as day. My eyebrows froze. It's time to set off, friends. A steel behemoth that has been dusted for decades. Vasuria vacant. Dust and iron filings keep sliding down. The Eternal dragged 3 armored carriages slowly merged from the maintenance lane into the subway trunk line. It continued to swallow the black mist in front of it and roared away. That's what it feels like. My heart was racing. This time I seemed to be one with the whole train. There is a sense of pleasure. Open air railway outside University Town Station. Wandering around a few zombies in tattered uniforms. They hear a roar. Suddenly, it was like a group of crazy beasts rushing up. However, the speeding up Eternal crushed by... I screamed. Cool. At this moment, there is a supreme pleasure of breaking through the night and entering the dawn. It means that my plan has successfully taken the first step. Qiu Ya's phone could no longer be connected. I put away my phone and prepared to pick up people directly. Imperial Water Garden Block 3901. Qiu Ya couldn't sleep all night under the strong mental pressure. Her whole person looks incomparably incomparable. The beautiful face is not bloody. She... At this time, curl yourself up in the corner of the sofa. The head was tightly buried under the knees. There are books piled up around the stars and orbits. Qiu Ya's eyes were a little dull. Since yesterday I made that last call. Qiu Ya will have all hope. They are all placed on the waiting train that is galloping over. But as time passes bit by bit, despair in her heart was also devouring her last sanity little by little. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Is he here? She immediately ran barefoot from the sofa to the back of the door. He said with a panicked expression. Who is it? Teacher Qiu Ya. It's me. I called you for 2 days and you didn't answer. I was a little worried, so I asked. Qiu Ya's heart instantly fell into the ice valley at this time. Director Liang was a colleague of Qiu Ya before. This person is a genuine beast, and she also heard that Liang Wei would pass through several female students. Seeing that Qiu Ya was slow to open the door, Liang Wei outside lay directly on the cat's eye and peeked inside. Teacher Qiu Ya, are you hungry? There are also many bread biscuits and canned beef in our county. There is also mineral water, if you want to eat it. I'll take it down for you now. The names of these foods fell into Qiu Ya's ears. Seems to have some kind of temptation to break through reason. She had been hungry for 2 days. But she also knows, regardless of whether what Director Liang said is true or not, as long as she opens the door, she will become this disgusting scum Doomsday toy. Maybe it has been a long time since I got a response. Director Liang's remaining patience outside the door was swept away. His expression changed. Suddenly slapped the door hard. You don't pretend to be noble for me. The Taoists in this world are almost dead. You can live at least a few more days with me. Open the door. The huge movement frightened. Qiu Ya's face turned paler. She turned around and grabbed the fruit knife on the shoe cabinet for self-defense and protected it in front of her. Suddenly, a deep sound of chopping meat sounded outside the door. Liang Wei, who was still full of foul language just now, suddenly stopped moving. The sound of someone falling to the ground came from the corridor. Qiu Ya's eyes were startled, trembling, and walking towards the cat's eye again. Outside the door stood a somewhat familiar young man. Teacher Qiu Ya, if you are alive, I advise us not to waste time. My voice made Qiu Ya's spine tingle. He's coming. He picked himself up and left. Qiu Ya's expression was visible to the naked eye, with a burst of brightness. Seeing Liang Wei being hacked to death, her heart was fast. I don't know where the courage comes from. She immediately opened the door without hesitation. But see the dagger in my hand. Unconsciously, he took 2 steps back. Today's Qiu Ya, wearing a pair of denim trousers. The upper body is a sweatshirt and a light windproof jacket. Maybe this is what she thinks is suitable for escaping. I'll wait for her to pack her things. I went to the kitchen to search again. Qiu Ya's coffee machine juicer and other small appliances. Throw a head into the bag, then hand it to her to hold. Qiu Ya took it. At this time, I was nervous and curious. I don't understand what to do with these things. But I didn't answer. She also put away her doubts. Obediently followed with a cardboard box. Follow me. Try not to make noise. On the platform, I smashed the heads of several zombies along the way. Took Qiu Ya down the trail of the platform. Qiu Ya's face turned pale. Qiang quickly followed with a surge in his stomach. She didn't expect the outside world to become such a tragic situation. Not long after, we came to the train. Access to the cab. The heavy iron door was closed. The lights inside are bright. She was wrapped in a steel wall. A huge sense of security struck Qiu Ya's heart. I took her to car 1. A bag of bread and a bottle of water were found from the supplies and thrown to Qiu Ya. You look like you've been hungry for days. Eat it. Qiu Ya took it excitedly. Zealand tears kept falling from my face. Thank you. She was indeed starving. Handful tore open the packaging of the bread while crying, while eating it in a big bite. The feeling of seeing an acquaintance. I was also very comforted looking at Qiu Ya, who was eating bread. I began to make a 3-chapter agreement with her. No one can drive this train except me. If I die, you will die too. So from today, we are allies and teammates. You must trust me unconditionally. Listen to my arrangements, otherwise your end will definitely be miserable. I understand. I have listened to you since the beginning of Hichia. What kind of ability do you want to do? You don't have to know. She lowered her head and hummed softly, which was a response. Qiu Ya devoured the bread. At this time, her small mouth suddenly opened. His face showed a look of frightened crocodile, because she saw a girl with her hands and feet tied. At this time, he was lying in the corner of car 2. The eyes are idle, and I don't know if life or death is unknown. Qiu Ya was so frightened that she quickly covered her mouth. Could it be otherwise? This is the woman he kidnapped. Qiu Ya thought about it at this time, but I didn't know that I had walked into the carriage. Qiu Ya was suspicious. Asked me tentatively, who is she? I don't know who she is either. Suddenly appeared outside my house and let me save her. As a result, he remained unconscious for safety. I could only tie her hands and feet first. Qiu Ya heard this, and her heart took a long breath. Couldn't help but laugh at myself. Obviously, he begged to get on the bus. Regardless of the final fate, it's all your own choice. So are we getting ready to leave the city now? I still have some essential supplies to prepare. By the way, I also need to test the performance of the locomotive. There are still 4 days left in the polar night. That should be in time. So what do you need me to do for you? I was in charge of driving. You are responsible for recording the route traveled each day. Mileage is site, vehicle condition. Because we don't know yet the law and coverage of the night tide. Therefore, it is necessary to calculate the daily sunrise change time during the escape process. If the direction is wrong, we may never escape the polar night. I understand. I can do this. My gaze swept towards the carriage. It's just the 2 of us for now. So I need you to help me inventory and manage the supplies. By the way, help me stare at that girl. Don't you need me to drive the car with you to find supplies? I didn't say it. It's just the 2 of us for the time being. If you get off the car, who will guard the car? I heard the meaning of Qiu Ya's words, but it is not scheduled, cause in the fuel tank of this locomotive, there is no oil at all, and I'm not worried about someone locking themselves outside. Right, to do this, I actually have a temptation in my heart. Qiu Ya didn't expect me to be so reassured about her. There was an inexplicable emotion in my heart. The Eternity travels at a very low speed on the city light rail in Jiang City. I plan according to the map. Prepare to proceed along line 3T. In the cockpit, I began to devour the few small appliances I brought out of Qiu Ya's house one by one. Is about to embark on a journey. I have to seize every opportunity to improve myself. Watching the pink bear blender in his hand turn into a pile of fly, I feel a sense of emotion in my heart. If only I could give it enough time. Devour cars, and even trains. Maybe it can increase dozens or hundreds of mechanical sources at one time, and with previous experience with hair dryers, I am even more looking forward to it. Will there be other special skills obtained from devouring? Own mechanical heart system. In the last days, in an environment where the industrial system of all mankind has collapsed, it's simply invincible. According to my plan, we want to make the train a real long-term survival cycle. The most basic is the energy problem. This is more than half of what my ability solves. The only downside, it is necessary to use one's own physical strength and stay focused. It makes it hard for me to be distracted from other complicated things. If you have a chance, you still have to find a few teammates. I drove the train. I saw a huge building in the distance. Oscar City. This place is usually a place to sell all kinds of furniture, although there should be no supplies there. But you can get something to keep out the cold. Since the day of the apocalypse, affected areas around the world are cooling over a large area, and at times like this, prepare cold weather items in advance, definitely prescient. I parked the train on the track in the open air. You wait for me in the car. I'll go inside and take a look. Except for me. Never open the door to anyone. I know. Let's use this to keep in touch. The cell phone signal may not work. I crossed the road all the way, cautiously walked into the furniture city. This stream is good. Moderate softness and hardness. This type of material is not cared about in the apocalypse, so much so that most of the stores here have not been looted. But these things are not small. It's not easy to take it away. I walked around. Suddenly, I found several forklifts and a flatbed truck. Who knew I had just walked over? I saw a zombie pounce on me. I took a step back with a conditioned reflex. After seeing clearly, immediately raised his hand and pointed at it. The wind cannon exploded. Immediately a hole exploded in the middle of the zombie's head. The zombie twisted twice motionless. Every time you use this trick, proficiency will increase a little. However, I found that this trick was not small for my energy, so it to be used with caution. Thinking of this, I pulled my own dagger from behind as a weapon, then climb into the driver's seat, hold the steering wheel with both hands. The heart of the machine is activated. It was soon discovered that the reserve battery was already in a state of power loss, so the engine can't be started. But for me, it is a baby delivered to the door. I got out of the driveway and picked up a forklift. Activate the ability to connect. Then he swaggered and drove the forklift, rushed into the furniture city through the back door. He was going to buy the no-one carriage where he lived to be more comfortable. I first chose an expensive sectional leather sofa. It was transported to the truck by forklift. The more I move, the happier I become. Then I saw a brand store on the wall. There is a set of 60-inch light screen TVs. My eyes lit up. If there is an entertainment area, it's okay to play games and watch movies without saying a word. I can dismantle it if I can. Soon the flatbed truck was jammed to the brim on a minivan. My eyes fluoresce. Mechanical hard drive. Let the engine roar again. I'm full of harvest. Drive into the gravel slope of the railroad tracks. Qiu Ya. I waited for more than an hour on the train. I saw me rushing in a truck. The whole person was shocked. Look at the train again. It is either a sofa or a mattress. There is even a TV that I remember even more. Is this also considered a material? Is it the most important thing under the apocalypse? Isn't it looking for water or food? Or maybe it's a weapon. Qiu Ya was a little messy, but watch me drive to the back of car 3. She also hurried over to help. The lifting tailplate of the No 3 carriage is slowly lowered. Then the two began to put things together. I'll move to carriage 1. Wait for everything to be done. It was already the setting sun. I have a bold idea at this time. Now that it's all in front of you, why not take this opportunity to devour this truck? Even in danger, you can also raise the protective tailplate of the carriage as soon as possible. Sounds a bit risky. After all, the danger in the night is not those ordinary zombies, but I don't want to waste this rare opportunity to upgrade. I decided to take a gamble. I put the tow coupler around my waist. Take advantage of the fact that night is not yet coming. Reach out and put your hand on the minivan. Without hesitation, he activated the ability to devour machinery. I felt the energy in my body draining at an accelerated pace. As night fell, my expression also began to become solemn. Devouring progress 63. Enter the night for an hour. The progress of devouring is finally more than half. I was absolutely focused at this time. Be vigilant at all times in the dark around you. I turned off all the lights on the train. The whole person seems to be one with the night. Even breathing slows down. Just reach out and devour it quietly on the minivan. Devouring progress. It's a lot of. It's coming soon. It's almost successful. This time, a slight sound of gravel suddenly sounded. I frowned. I held my breath at the moment. The sound is getting closer. Sounds a bit heavy. You can look around when I look around. But I found nothing. My heart was lifted. Began to anxiously urge the mechanical devouring. Devouring 98 progress. Although it took almost an hour and a half, but as long as it succeeds, everything is worth it. Devouring success. Mechanical source 30. Mechanical devouring skill proficiency by 10. Bonus strength speed defense increased by 5. I looked at the skyrocketing mechanical source. Donggan breathed a sigh of relief, and with the increase in speed attributes, I found that my vision became clearer and brighter. With me devouring complete, the whole minivan suddenly got tired of flying. Some fragments of the car fell to the ground with a ding, caused a stir, and at this time, I suddenly heard a low hum overhead. I immediately felt a chill in my back. Suddenly raised his head. Then I saw the horror that almost made me lose my soul, a humanoid creature with white feet and 3 meters tall. I don't know when it appeared next to me. It has an elongated body. The arms hang down almost flat below the knees. Was a bright red bloody mouth on the head of Yi. 2 round eyes are red. Just looked at me with his head down. I only felt my scalp tingle and was shocked. The empty and low roar came out again. The white-hated monster suddenly raised its long hand. 5 fingers are like 5 steel guns, fiercely grabbed me. Luckily, I just increased my speed stat by 1 level. Physical agility is completely beyond my self-perception. The white claws have not yet arrived. My whole body has been conditioned to withdraw from the stage. Raising his hand to aim at the monster's head is a wind cannon. Only a deep sound was heard. The monster's high head seemed to have been hit by something. He leaned back a few steps. I was shocked. This thing has such hard skin. The air cannon can't be penetrated at all. Realizing the seriousness, I still hesitated. Immediately sprinted into the eternity carriage. At the same time, it activates the heart of the machine. While raising the tail plate, start the train and start moving forward. Qiu Ya watched me close the door frantically, immediately realized the danger. Without hesitation, he turned around and ran into the cab. The door of the hydraulic tail plate slowly closes. The first time I felt that the door was closing too slowly. Sure enough, the door was halfway closed. A huge grey-white hand suddenly grabbed the tailplate. The black nails on Senran's fingers were buckled on the steel tail plate. Immediately caught a few dents. My first reaction was, this thing is definitely not a dead person infected and mutated. This is not a creature of this world at all. In a hurry, I can't care about the fear in my heart. As soon as he hit hard, he immediately drew his short knife and jumped. Aiming at the giant hand that hated white was a slash. It wasn't the flesh of pleasure that responded to me. It's steel-like hardness. I was shocked to the point of numbness. Looking at the gap on the short knife, I gasped. This guy is extremely strong and invulnerable. If it is overturned and derailed, I will definitely have to explain it here today. I made a quick decision. Raise your fingers to gather all your strength. Aim for one of the troll's bloody eyes. Another blow of air guns burst out. This time he hit the light gun accurately. The troll immediately let out a scream, and with my attack, the troll's hand also fell from the tail plate. At this time, the tail plate of carriage No. 3 finally slowly closed the door with black smoke. The speed of the train gradually increased. I immediately got up to take a look. Because there are no lights outside, the white monster disappeared into darkness in the blink of an eye. At this time, I was relieved. I sat down on the ground. This is for months. This is the first time I've encountered something so scary. I finally experienced the horror of the night. Last night's strange insects controlled human corpses. Today's white troll. No one knows what else the hell will be in the dark night. Survivors who want to survive in the dark. It's just wishful thinking. The only way out for humanity is to escape the polar night. Drive in the dark night with unclear road conditions. Obviously extremely irrational behavior. The huge movement caused bursts of zombies to shout outside. I realized that this was not the way to go. Just run to the cockpit. The elevated light rail line that passes through the 3rd ring road. In front of it, we might be able to stop there. Qiu Ya seemed to see my worries. He immediately told me a feasible plan. Stop on the viaduct. It will be relatively safer. Away from the ground, most zombies can't keep up. It's just that I'm most worried at this time. It's still the white troll that just ew. After the train stopped on the overpass, I immediately turned off all the lights in the car. At the same time, he kept observing the movements outside. What was that thing just now? Qiu Ya asked with an ugly face. The ghost knows. If you are targeted by this kind of thing, if you don't die, you have to lose a layer of skin. So what should we do? Waiting for the day to go out of town. There is this plan. There is a freight warehouse over there at Jiang City station. We'll go and see tomorrow. Have you eaten? I looked at Qiu Ya. I found that her face was very wooden. Qiu Ya, it's me, ask her. He said in a somewhat humble tone. I just sorted out the water and food. Roughly calculated. If we eat 1 meal a day, it can only last for about a month. My eyes moved slightly. Look at car 1. At this time, Qiu Ya had already made the bed. All the sofas are laid out. The pillows and bedding are also neatly arranged. She didn't know how to pretend except for that TV. The steel bed frame has not yet been welded. Car 1 has been removed from the previous Wanderer kennel. It has become a cozy 1-bedroom. I walked over from the storage rack, took out a can of fruit and handed it to Qiu Ya. Eat it. Eat and sleep. Qiu Ya spoke out unexpectedly. She looked at the can in my hand. There was both a bit of longing and a bit of suddenness in his eyes. Sweet canned fruit immediately aroused her appetite. But the 3 words of sleep, she couldn't help but think about it for a while. She took it obediently. Then he sat down on the sofa. I opened a can of fruit and took a sip. It's incredibly sweet. Soon she finished a whole can. Then he sat silently on the edge of the bed. I am in car 3 at this time. Use the ability to repair damaged hydraulic tail plates. When I went back to car 1, I saw it. Qiu Ya sat on the edge of the bed with her head down, suddenly frowned. Why are you sitting and sleeping quickly? Let's keep vigilant shifts tonight, and you will get up later. As soon as these words came out, Qiu Ya raised her head in surprise. After saying that she felt ashamed and annoyed, quickly got up and lay down on the sofa. I naturally saw Qiu Ya's extravagance. Just experienced this kind of life and death. Fools. Think about the trouser stall. At this time I came to carriage 2. Look at the mysterious girl, who is still sleeping. Suddenly felt a little strange. This also slept too long. It's been almost 20 hours since last night. I don't know if it's real sleep or pretend to be asleep. Thinking of this, I frowned. Leaning in front of the girl, reach out and pinch her tender little face. If you pretend to be asleep again, I will throw you on the road. However, the girl still fell asleep peacefully with a serene face. I was a little weak. If it weren't for the mysterious and unknown ability on this girl, I had no intention of saving her at all. If she's just a burden, it's fine. Who knows if she will help or threaten me when she wakes up? The temperature plummeted at night. I sighed helplessly, carried the girl to car No. 1. At this time, Qiu Ya was also tired and fell asleep. I put the girl on the sofa too, covered the 2 sets of thick quilts with new cuts, raised a cart of beautiful women, not bad. Looking at the 2 sleeping women, one has a beautiful face and a gentle temperament, another delicate little beauty embryo. It gave me an inexplicable sense of accomplishment. After that, I looked at the mechanical heart panel. It was found that the wind cannon proficiency turned out to be 12. Suddenly, a little doubtful of life, I thought it would go up by 1 point at a time. Unexpectedly, there was a big stride. Is it a critical situation? Can you greatly improve your mastery of skills? Think about it. I think this guess is more likely. The next day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the sky suddenly lit up. Jiang City ushered in a short dawn. Light from the gap in the armor of the window fell on Qiu Ya's face. She slowly opened her eyes, watching me weld the bed frame at this time. Immediately turned over in shock. I'm sorry. Am I oversleeping? I see that you are not in good shape, and last night was special. That strange thing will come again if it can't be guaranteed, so I didn't wake you up. Today, we are going to pass through the freight loading and unloading point in Jiang City. The situation over there can be a little troublesome. You have to be mentally prepared in advance. I took Qiu Ya to the cockpit. At this time, I have started the eternity and started moving forward. I said to Qiu Ya, on the way, this main road should not deviate from the turnout when it merges into the Jiangyu line. If you have the chance, today I'm going to tow an electric locomotive on the road. When doing carriage docking, I need you to help me operate the docking instructions. I pointed to a few operation buttons and explained Qiu Ya's patience. Fortunately, Qiu Ya has been influenced by her father's railway knowledge since she was a child. Know that this is the operation process of connecting rail train carriages? It's just that I heard it. Actual operation is still the first time that the eldest daughter gets on the sedan chair. The train slowly drove out of the main urban area. Several main roads out of the city appeared in front of the 2 of them at once, but only in an instant. Qiu Ya and I both changed our expressions. Frame that burned and caught fire. Luggage and clothing scattered all over the place. All of them are telling the 2 of them. The road out of the city is already a purgatory on earth. Looking at the tragic scene on the main road, Qiu Ya's eyes trembled slightly. He looked at the clear railway in front of him. At this time, I was extremely glad that I knew me. I am even more fortunate to be able to board this train. A slowly moving train. It attracted the attention of some survivors hiding at home on the side of the railway. A few quiet eyes fell. Some began to whisper. Train, how is that possible? In a certain building. Someone shouted loudly, take me one, I have the supplies. There were even people who threw stones at the train, shouting like crazy, stop it, get me on the handlebars. I heard the sound of stones falling. Qiu Ya sighed a little nervously. Will they come to grab something? Anyway, I'm not here to show my courtesy. In order to survive in the apocalypse, you live and die for the supplies. It's not unusual. Rule 3 of the survival code, the Taoist friends do not die poor Taoists. Suddenly Qiu Ya pointed out the window and said in surprise, look. I listened to the voice and looked up. I couldn't help but shrink my pupils. It's snowing. Is winter here? Qiu Ya's big eyes looked at the snow outside the window in a daze. According to the season, there should be many months left in winter. My heart drifted slightly. It seems that his worries are not groundless. Except for the dark zombies are weird. Another disaster is also beginning to come with regional climate change. Natural disaster. If the ice and snow are extremely cold, then the trouble is not just cold. It represents the need for people to maintain body temperature. More food is needed. Train driving requires more energy. In case of extreme low temperatures, even the car needs to prepare a heating system. I deliberately slowed down the train. Order in the city is chaotic. I was worried about the railway. At the same time, it also avoids too much commotion caused by excessive noise. As the train left, soon the turnouts ahead began to increase. A wide area appears. The branch tracks are filled with various freight trains. I stopped in front of a platform that said loading and unloading platform 4. Take the walkie-talkie. Even me. You don't open the door either, because I can open it myself. As long as you don't open the door, no one can do anything to you. Qiu Ya nodded. She now knows that my ability is to operate trains, so she obediently wrote down all my instructions. And be careful. I got out of the car and closed the hatch. After the speed attribute is increased, my movements became much more agile. I had a short knife in my hand. It crosses several railways in succession. Every time a train passes, look in the direction of the front and rear of the train. Find the right locomotive. I swept through the carriages one by one until I walked to the front of the container train. I saw that the tractor was a silver Ringstar E-type electric locomotive. Suddenly his eyes lit up. It's you. I reached out and touched it. The mechanical heart begins to scan the drive. It was found that the overall working condition of this electric locomotive was good. The color is still very new. Now I picked up the treasure because of my special ability. What survivors don't look down on at all is a big treasure in my eyes. Just as I was about to activate the big guy to disconnect the carriage, staccato voice suddenly came from behind him. I immediately turned cautiously. The sound came from a warehouse above the dry platform. I followed the sound to find it. The sound was found coming from inside a warehouse with the name No 14 written on the door. I also faintly heard someone shout, "Help me. Is there anyone?" I came to the door of warehouse 14. It was found that this warehouse is a cold chain warehouse. When I walk in, I will see the end of the book. In the isolation window of one of the large freezers, there are 2 women. One of them was banging frantically on the door. The woman looks in her 30s. The face was flushed. The other is an old lady in her 50s or 60s. At this time, he sat on the ground. Looking at that appearance, there is already less air intake and more air out. As soon as I walked in, the woman saw me immediately. Immediately exclaimed, "Please, help me open the door. My mother is dying." Who knew that when I heard this, my eyes were awe-inspiring. The secret is not good. Immediately jump forward. It's just an instant. Gunshot rang out behind me. There is an ambush. I saw through the right plan in an instant. A woman was locked in a freezer and shouted. It's really too abrupt. She shouted aimlessly. Only zombies are waiting, obviously to get my attention on purpose. One shot missed. Another shuttle bullet hit one after another. I didn't stagnate in the slightest from start to finish. I reacted extremely quickly. Rushed directly into the door of another freezer. Then close the door with your backhand. Don't let him run away. At this time, 2 men quickly chased after them. Everyone has a guy in their hands. One is long and one is short. The leader looks in his early 40s with a gloomy complexion, a large tattoo on the neck. He rushed over and kicked it to the freezer door, only to find that the door of the freezer was actually locked. The man at the head immediately raised his gun and shot it at the freezer window, but he didn't know that the window was 200 mm thick. For the heat retention effect, the entire freezer is nothing more than a heavy fortress. The door of the original No 1 freezer opened. The woman and the old lady who just pretended to be asking for help walked out one after another. This kid is quite clever. The old lady's face changed suddenly. How could there be the half-dead look just now? She glanced viciously at me in the freezer. I was going to die inside. He likes to die inside, so you let him die. Today the fish ran quite fast. But it seems that the head is not very smart. I got into the dead end of the alley. Brother, come out. Give us the train keys. I promise to spare your life. Sure enough, the other party observed my eternity entering the platform in advance. The woman used such a fishing trick. It's just to kill people and take cars. The platform man with the spear looked at me and sneered. I don't know where to find an iron chain. The door handle of the freezer was tied up from the outside. At this time, an 11 or 12-year-old fat man with a fat face ran in from outside. I just watched it. There was only one woman on the train. It's pretty beautiful. Middle-aged man's name is Huang Shaojiang. Xiao-Yan. The one holding the spear was his younger brother Huang Jian. Huang Ji couldn't help but laugh when he heard the little fat man's words. 2 people dare to drive a train. Bold enough. Just when a few people were in high spirits, the old lady glanced at me in the freezer. Then he winked at a few people. The second child, you are here to guard. After saying that, she pulled a few people away. Ru Ping was plotting something. Old woman don't dream. Who knew that just when the old lady was about to leave, I suddenly spoke in the freezer. I immediately saw what the old lady was thinking. Do it in front of everyone. Slowly took out a walkie-talkie from behind him. Teacher Qiu Ya, I'm in trouble here. Don't open the door. Good. I will definitely not open the door. Ang Xiao-Yan outside the door didn't expect me to have a walkie-talkie on me. At this time, I heard that I was contacted in person. It was immediately rectified. Towards the door of the freezer is a slam kick. The old lady saw through my mind and gritted her teeth. Just a locked-up dog. Do you want to spend with us? The taste in it should be uncomfortable. The old lady was not wrong. There was a foul smell in the freezer. It made my head dizzy. I used my ability to lock the mechanical lock on the freezer door, although it is temporarily safe. But I can't get out either. Huang Xiao-Yan slapped the window, shouted viciously inside. Let's see how long you can last. If I wear out my patience. Believe it or not, Lao Tzu dragged the woman out of the train. If you know the face, cooperate with us. You and the woman are responsible for driving. Everyone escaped from here together. How about I promise to spare your lives? The mother and son have 2 faces, one with a red face and one with a white face. I almost had fun, although I have the skill of wind cannon. But in the face of 2 guns, if you choose to fight, obviously extremely irrational behavior. My mind turned 100 times. I suddenly had a crazy idea. I just ignored the few people outside. Take out the flashlight from your backpack. Start to look at the environment in the freezer. I saw it outside. I ignored it directly. The old lady was afraid that the train would run away. He also winked quickly. Let the 2 sons go to the train first to find out the situation. I approached the depths. On the other side was a row of large freezers. My eyes lit up. Walk over and check them one by one. Although there are no items in the freezer anymore, but I can use it to devour since I can't get out for the time being. This freezer is again a natural fortress. Then I can start devouring this large electrical appliance with confidence. Thinking of this, I took out the walkie-talkie again. Teacher Qiu Ya's plan has changed. I'm temporarily trapped here. You'll stay in the car tonight. Don't open the door or turn on the light. Don't make any noise. Wait for my news. On the train. Qiu Ya heard my words. His face suddenly became a little flustered. At this time she passed through the armor gap in the car window. 2 men with guns were seen crossing the railroad tracks coming in her direction. Someone came over. I know. Don't be afraid. As long as you don't open the door, they can't do anything about you. The words just fell. There was a knock on the door outside the cockpit at the front of the car. Open the door, otherwise I will shoot. The man is in our hands. If you don't want him to die, open the door quickly. Qiu Ya held the walkie-talkie tightly. Retreat to car 1. This is also the first time she has encountered this situation. It is impossible not to panic. My words are deeply rooted in my heart. She doesn't care what the other party says. It is absolutely impossible to open the door. At this time, Huang Ji was holding a spear, climbed to the front windshield, immediately saw Qiu Ya with a panicked expression inside. His eyes suddenly lit up. I almost drooled. Those girls are so beautiful. Elder brother, this woman will be my daughter-in-law. His eyes were on fire at this time. Directly pick up the butt and aim it at the windshield to smash it down. But no matter how hard he tried, not even a crack appeared in the windshield. Wang Qi's eyes were red. Picking up a gun and pointing it at the car glass is a shuttle, but the windshield still didn't react. Be quiet. Don't D. If we attract those ghosts, we will all die. Mother Yunyo, Hao Yi, was impatient at this time. Looking at Qiu Ya in the carriage, he kept swallowing dry. His face was full of unwillingness. The eldest brother Huang Xiao-Yan also climbed up at this time. Look inside. Suddenly, his pupils trembled. There was a thought in his heart, and his eyes flashed with complications. But soon, he deliberately straightened his face again. Hold your horses. She couldn't run. Wait for us to get that man out. The train key. Isn't it just everything? Little beauty, you wait for me. Devouring success. Great harvest. I took a quick look. There are 4 such large freezers here. If you devour them all, wouldn't it be a big profit? Mechanical devouring is also about to escalate. If the upgrade is successful, the efficiency of my devouring should also be improved. Thinking of this, I am full of confidence. Don't waste time either. Go directly to the second freezer and start devouring. And at this time, outside the cold storage, the Huangjiaojian and Huangji brothers were so tired that their faces were red. Various steel pipe crowbars were thrown all over the ground. He was already sweating profusely and panting. I can't open it at all. The old lady stood beside her. She looked at the sky outside. The sun in my eyes is uncertain. Mother, these days, we hid there at night. Those monsters outside can't be opened. Wang Xiaoyan and the others must have difficulty opening this door. Oh yes. This goal is too hard. Wang Yi courted and threw the steel pipe in his hand to the ground. The old lady knew that this would be futile. It's getting dark soon. Let's hide first. Anyway, he was locked with an iron chain outside. I'm not afraid to run away. Now it looks like it. There is no such man. The train should not run. As long as they can't run, it definitely won't consume us. Mom, makes sense. Zou, do it. The third freezer was devoured by me. His devouring skill has finally been upgraded to LF2 level. Looking at the light curtain in front of him, I only felt the mechanical heart in my body roar wildly for a moment. Under the excitement, I immediately set my sights on the last freezer. Devouring progress. 2. Light curtain progress bar. It is visible to the naked eye that the engulfing progress is accelerating. The efficiency gains are definitely a big thing for me. It can save enough time at critical moments. It can also greatly reduce the risk probability when engulfing. I start the time with my watch. Then he began to devour it with concentration. So fast. I looked at the time on my watch. 3 freezers in front. On average it takes about 1 hour and 40 minutes. But now it only took 55 minutes. It is almost complete. Efficiency has nearly doubled. Just when I hadn't suppressed the excitement in my heart, a golden light suddenly flashed in front of my eyes. Devouring success. You get the ice shield skill. I was stunned. Really? Acquire skills and the machinery or electrical appliances that you devour. It has a certain relevance. Looking at the light curtain ice shield, often 130. My eyes were a little hesitant. I tried to move my mind and waved my hand. Almost flat in an instant, a small semi-arc shaped azure ice shield rose from the ground. Protect yourself. The height just covers my shoulders. I was a little dumbfounded by the ice shield I had created out of thin air. The ice shield in front of him was not thick, only about the thickness of the palm of your hand. I tried to cut it with a short knife. The hardness is a little higher than expected. Read and so on. I looked at the ice shield in front of me. The brows slowly rose. There was silence for a moment. I suddenly stepped forward. Stick out your tongue and lick it on the ice. Colorless and tasteless ice. Immediately my pupils shrank. An incomparable color of shock appeared in his eyes. Condensed into ice out of thin air. With this trick, then won't there be no shortage of water to drink in the future? Clean water. What a precious resource in the apocalypse. I can make a big lump out of thin air, although it takes a bit of energy, but if you count it that way, Jian Dao, he's made a profit. I couldn't hide the excitement in my eyes. He used a knife to chisel a piece of the ice shield and put it in his mouth. Suddenly, a coolness spread throughout the mouth. Immediately, my head cleared up a lot. At this point, I looked at the time, turned around and came to the door of the freezer. Mechanical heart is urging. The cylinder hinge is opened again. It's just that the freezer door is only opened a little, thus locked by the chains outside. Old stuff. Knowing that this group of people was afraid that I would run away, they must have done something outside. But I didn't open the door to escape. I slowly poked my finger out through the crack in the door. The strength is condensed. A wind gun was fired, bombarded on the stainless steel gate of the freezer opposite. There was a loud sound like a bell. A huge noise instantly resounded throughout the warehouse. This time, the family hiding in the freezer was all shocked by this move. The brothers quickly picked up their pistols, but at this time it was dark outside the gate. They can't see anything. Is there a monster? The little fat man hid behind Gong Lai. At this time, the little face was also frightened. Uneasy emotions began to spread in the hearts of several people. Hiding behind the door, I looked cold. You like to catch turtles in jars, right? Today, I will teach you what is an urn.